It's going to cost the government, what, about $4, maybe more, $5 trillion. It's going to cut Medicaid.
The people gave him a pass when they elected him with 34 convictions. Right now, all the inflation that we are experiencing is self-inflicted or Trump-inflicted.
Let's watch a few clips of Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett on MSNBC laying down the law on this horrendous Trump administration and now the tax increase he's trying to pass for the middle class. So leave us a like on the video if you can. It helps us out a ton, gives us a big boost in the algorithm, and let's jump right into the chaos.
It's going to cost the government, what, about $4, maybe more, $5 trillion. It's going to cut Medicaid, other safety net programs by at least $700 billion. Studies show those tax breaks are going to increase income for the top earning households, and I mean the top, while reducing income for the poorest 10%. So if it passes, how does it affect your constituents? And what do you say to Republicans who claim this bill's all about fiscal responsibility?
First of all, it's nothing but a transfer of wealth in a country in which, under the Biden-Harris administration, that wealth gap was actually starting to shrink because there were actual jobs that were being created. We saw through the CHIPS and Science Act that we ended up providing for opportunities for new high-tech manufacturing jobs. We also saw through the Inflation Reduction Act that there were so many opportunities around new green jobs. All we have seen out of this administration is that they have cut jobs, whether it was within the federal government or outside of the federal government.
Another campaign lie in this bill that isn't getting talked about enough is Trump's constant promises to not touch Medicare specifically, only to craft a bill that triggers $500 billion in Medicare cuts on top of Medicaid cleverly, where it triggers it through the debt it incurs, not through it writing it in law itself. This is essentially a debt bill, right? Just like the first tax cuts were, where economic growth isn't going to be spurred. They weren't the first time. Only $6 billion in investment was spurred for trillions of dollars in debt. Revenue is going to be massively cut. It's like a large part of the reason in his first term that he signed more debt into law than any other one-term president in history. His tax code cutting revenue drastically was a lot of the cause behind the debt under Biden and our inability to mitigate COVID spending in the same way. I mean, the whole fiscally responsible moniker Republicans have should be set to expire anytime, about as soon as those no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, because it was never true.
The people gave him a pass when they elected him with 34 convictions. I mean, he has gotten nothing but special privilege treatment. And sadly enough, while he is enjoying this privilege, it is only causing harm and wreaking havoc on us as a country. I mean, you know, the safest thing that you can ever have is a bond, allegedly, at least in the United States, right? And we know even the bond markets are being shaken. We know that our credit rating was recently reduced, which for everyone watching at home, what that means is that when your credit score drops, you know, from above 800 and drops down, say, into the 600s, that means that your debt is going to cost you more money. I mean, all he is doing is costing us money and giving us less resources overall, and then telling us, you know what? Go ahead and pay more for that iPhone that we know that you're using consistently. Or he's telling our friends, like, why would you tell the EU that you want to invoke these tariffs?
And that's the problem with privilege, isn't it? If you feed into it even an inch, it turns into entitlement, where Trump gets the most softball graded on a curve treatment from media, from voters, from investors, from courts, from AGs, and yet he still plays the woe is me victim card anytime he has to take accountability. One thing you have never and will never hear Trump say is that was completely my fault. I messed up and I'm sorry. I would bet any amount of money on that. I would bet anything on that. You have politicians' careers getting ended over cheating allegations, over bad photo ops, over timid tones of voice when they're speaking. Meanwhile, Trump is elected into a second term as an adjudicated rapist, 9-0, right? 34 count felon, unanimous, who had confirmed cheated on his wife, confirmed committed hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, and launched the largest single attack on our democracy in history by trying to steal a free and fair election. Yet we're still supposed to believe that he is the one that is unfairly persecuted.
Right now, all the inflation that we are experiencing is self-inflicted or Trump-inflicted.
I'm curious, if the Democrats take over after the midterms next year, the House and or Senate, Do you think they're going to push for investigations into Trump's family and the whole crypto acquisitions that he is getting?
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, so long as we end up taking the House, which I fully anticipate that we will do, and we are going to work hard to obviously help our Senate colleagues as well, then as someone who serves on the Oversight Committee and hopes to lead the Oversight Committee, I can guarantee you that we will do what we are supposed to do as constitutionally sworn members of the House, which means that we will conduct oversight. That means that we will investigate. We will look at whether or not this president himself has violated the emoluments clause as it relates to, say, such things as getting a $400 million plane.
The map almost guarantees the Democrats take back the House. The Senate's going to be a bit more trivial. Trump destroying the economy, however, probably adds the final nail on the coffin with the House, where finally some real accountability will be had. The House will actually do its duties as a co-equal branch, its checks and balances it has. Trump won't be able to run free and enriching himself and his family, overstepping the courts, pulling power from Congress, defying the Constitution, taking bribes without proper oversight being carried out, which is a wonderful thing. Right now, Trump is emboldened largely because what he's created in his party is a cult. Nobody dare challenge him, even when he's clearly overstepping the bounds of his office and the Constitution in a way that any Constitution-loving conservative should care about. So they're either liars about that, or they're just willing to let him do whatever if it means they get power. So what we need is the adults in the room to come back into power and once again, like they typically always have to do, clean up the mess Republicans made.